How's it going, everybody? It's Robin here. Welcome to Oracle Rising. Welcome to my kitchen. You guys, I'm going to talk about past lives today, okay? And whether or not you should remember them. Okay, so just quickly, if you guys, this is your first time on the channel, this is my channel where I talk about spiritual healing, escaping from the matrix, deep spiritual subjects, hopefully. If you guys have ideas, let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like me to research and talk about. Or you can email me at oraclerising2, that's the number 2, at gmail.com. Okay, so I find past lives extremely fascinating, mostly because we've all had them. And I was doing research and I found somebody that used the phrase alternate life because they're happening on all different planes of the universe and all the 12 dimensions. So they're not just really anchored here on Earth, right? And there are 12 dimensions. If you guys missed it, just go into one of my video playlists and maybe start from the beginning. That could really help you out on your spiritual journey. So what happens when we're born, when we decide to incarnate here on Earth? Okay, so we're a soul, we're kind of floating around out there in the universe in all the dimensions. We might volunteer, however grudgingly, to come down and help raise the vibration of the earth, or just fulfill another piece of our soul contract, or whatever other reason you might want to come down to earth. Who knows? So that's decided. We incarnate, we choose our family, our soul contract is written. I seem to be having a light fade issue, but I'm going to try and just continue on. Anyway, bear with me. And then we choose our parents, we choose our mother, our divine feminine vessel, to be transported from one dimension into another. We realize we're here and we think, ugh, why? Why? So we're here and we're stuck, okay? So it is at that moment between portals, between whatever dimension that we've just came out of into the earthly dimension, that our memories are eradicated. However, there are a lot of documentations of children remembering their past lives, and it's really quite eerie to people that don't understand what's going on. You might want to just check out, like I saw this on a Twitter thread and it was really interesting, but you can just check out anywhere, people that remembered their past lives or alternate lives. There was one particular child that was saying, Mummy, when I lived with my other mummy, and he was just talking about that with this perfect clarity. And like, it's not, kids are not making this stuff up, okay? They are remembering, but then they could be told that it's all, oh, it's just a figment of your imagination. And most of us, we have absolutely no recollection of where we came from before we incarnated here. Okay, so you want to remember your past lives or your alternate lives. You might want to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Why do you want to remember this stuff? I mean, are we under the impression that we were on some sort of holy journey, or that we were like a completely 100% angelic version of our soul in an alternate lifetime or a previous incarnation here on Earth? You have absolutely no idea who you were before you came into this incarnation, and you have to be 100% aware that you might not like the person that you were in a previous lifetime. People in their own current lifetime can barely stand themselves as it is, and have issues with everything about them, and we're struggling. So you got to be in a really good place before you decide, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to find out things about my previous lives, my alternate lives. Okay. So there are benefits to doing any sort of recollection. You could have made some sort of vow of poverty, of chastity, of whatever that could be a detriment to you in this lifetime. So you might want to go back and figure that out so that you can cancel it or reverse it, that was kind of all the rage, like way back in the day. You want to think hundreds of years ago. I'm going to take a vow of chastity. And now in this lifetime, like maybe you're single forever and never had a relationship, and why can't I get married, or why am I not wealthy, why am I not successful? could have been a previous incarnation of you that took some sort of vow. However, I mean, what if you were like Attila the Hun or something like that, or somebody that you just like, you know, they're kind of evil, you know? So you got to be aware that you can come across the good, the bad, and the ugly in your past or alternative lives. So you've decided that, okay, I'm going to go for it anyway. I'm ready to receive all this information. It's going to help me here on my journey now to remember all this vast information. Hopefully it doesn't freak me out too much. How are you going to get there? How are you going to remember this stuff? Okay. Actually, somebody commented on my channel, Aries Fire Tarot, that they wanted reading, healing, and past life messages. Okay, so I put that here on my list here of a past life reading. There are things that I will read as a tarot card reader, but they're very, very, very difficult for me. Some people might specialize in it. It depends on who you trust as well, to do a past life reading using tarot. Okay, so sometimes I will do past life readings for people. It depends on my energetic state. And I will sometimes do messages from people from beyond the veil to comfort people here where they are. But again, it's intense and it's a very big energy drain. So you could get a past life tarot card reading. I would really recommend, if you're doing something like that, actually any of these techniques that I'm going to give you, you've got to trust the person. You've got to understand that they are, you know, they know what they're doing. You know, you're trusting people with this really deep core of you. And you've got to be able to understand that the information that you're presented with is straight up, you know? So I can do that stuff, you guys. I just really need to be at a peak to be able to do that, because it can take a lot out of me. I do private readings for people. So anyway, I'm not here to plug my side hustle. But anyway, you guys, so remembering your past incarnations or past life, there is a hypnosis. It's called a past life regression. I guess you could do that with a YouTube video. Like, my fear of hypnosis is being stuck in a state where I won't be able to snap out of it, okay? And not every YouTuber is, again, you don't know what they're embedding in their videos, okay? And if you're doing a past life regression with a YouTube video, that's my biggest fear, is that I won't be able to come back out of the hypnosis, okay? So what if, I don't know, what if something happens? What if the video stops before I get the cue to come back out of the hypnosis? You know, there's kind of no safety word. I did have a hypnosis experience a while ago, and it was somebody that was recommended to me, and I went, and it was really strange to me. It was basically, I had never met this person, so I was sitting alone in their office with them, and I felt incredibly vulnerable, and I could not release my fear and anxiety to actually enjoy the experience or benefit from it in any way at all. So if you know somebody that is a trusted hypnotist or somebody that you're comfortable with, I would say go for that. But for me, it's just, it's not on. Like, that's not something I want to do. I kind of guard my brain, you know, I guard my psyche. So to have somebody sort of probing around in my brain like that and having me under their sort of spell, not my thing, but it could be for you. Just make sure anything that you do here, you guys, is going to be somebody that you trust 100%. So there's Akashic Records. I've talked about the Akashic Records in detail in a prior video. So you just kind of want to think, just a brief overview of a great big library of every experience that your soul has ever had, and it houses the same thing for every other soul that has ever existed or will exist, okay? It's timeless. So it'll show your future as well. Actually, time has no meaning in the spirit world, so it's everything, okay? So it's kind of mind-blowing. So an Akashic Records reading. There are people that specialize in Akashic readings. There are people that do Akashic Records viewing. Some people are able to help you to view your Akashic Records. Again, there are meditations that you can do that will help you to view Akashic Records. So that's really fascinating. I've actually never done a one-on-one Akashic Record tarot card reading for somebody, but to me, I would really prefer to do a past life reading because it seems easier to me. There are meditations, you guys. Again, you have to find somebody. You'll see this in the comments of some videos where there's no description of what is being spoken. People will comment and say, you know, you're not putting in your frequencies or your words, so be very careful. For me, there's a couple of people that I do trust, and Steve Nobel and Kenneth Suarez, okay? So really know your guide. You might want to check out Jason Stevenson as well. He's also world renowned as a meditative guide. Or you could just set your own intention, okay? But for something as deep as this, you might want a guide, okay? So a meditation is not the same as a hypnosis. A meditation is you listening to the guide's voice, and you're not being, I kind of got the word corrupt when I said that, when I was talking about hypnotists. So maybe that's my own personal skepticism, but you guys need to make up your own mind. And I'm all about meditation. You can do meditation in groups as well, you guys, if you have any sort of reluctance or reticence or anything like that. It's just, you know, the more the merrier. So I read briefly about this subject, and I found this really fascinating. A pendulum work with a Reiki master that is called Dowsing. Okay, so there's very little information about this, and I find that the less information that is available on the web, the more intensely it's being kind of hidden. Okay, so Dowsing, this might jog a memory for you guys. You know how people take a stick with a fork in it and they're looking for water, and apparently the straight end of the stick, you hold the forks in your hand, and the straight end of the stick dips down when there's water. Apparently the pendulum work with the Reiki master can help to kickstart these deeply rooted memories within us, because we all have the memory in our DNA. It'll help bring it out. And that's not something that I was 100% clear on. It's an option. You could look up a Reiki master and see if they do past life dowsing with a pendulum or any other technique. And the last one I have here is to ask your higher self, okay? You can ask your higher self questions, but your higher self is you in another dimension. So they might say that, well, I don't think you're ready for this, you know, maybe you need to develop a little bit more. Again, always ask yourself the question why you want to remember your past lives. Will it be helpful on your journey? Are you healed enough to be able to tolerate any sort of like really dark version of yourself? Because we go through every iteration possible, you know, and you could have been the slasher ripper, you know, you could have been the holy person. There's just no guarantee. It's whatever your soul wants to experience in whatever lifetime or alternate universe. So you gotta be ready for that. And you're not gonna look the same either, right? You could be like, look like a monster. So you have to be really prepared that you can gut it out and not scare yourself back even like further on, like kickstart another dark night of the soul, or, you know, another hermit phase where this one you're kind of rocking in the shower crying because you terrified yourself with all these images of who you were in a previous lifetime. So be really careful about this stuff, you guys, and make sure that you trust whoever it is that you go to read you in any sort of way. Okay, so I think this was a really, really interesting subject. If you think it was too, remember to hit like, you guys. Definitely leave me a comment. Hit subscribe. I'm still trying to grow the channel. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go and have myself a nice big fat coffee, and I'm going to send you guys love and light. Many blessings. Take care. Bye.